Welcome, residents. We're here for our weekly installment of Talk of the Town. Today I'm doing our fireside edition. This is in Town Hall in our lobby area. You'll probably see this on another taping that we did as we took you on a tour of Town Hall. But greetings in this holiday season. And before delving into a little bit more somber discussion, we hope that you are able to find some joy and happiness during this ongoing winter season. Here at Town Hall, the decoration has never been merrier and the spirit of giving has never been stronger. As you celebrate your winter-timed holidays, whether it's Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, the Three Kings Day, some people also observe Boxing Day, or even Festivus, to just name a few. Please reach out to a friend in need. And if you have any help, please call my office or also call County Legislator Cavaccini's office, and we'll do what we can. We have a number of people that are interested in assisting people in need for this holiday season. Turning to a more somber topic, as the COVID Grim Reaper cuts an even wider swath this holiday season, please do not let down your guard. The statistics we are now reading and watching are more and more horrific as the Thanksgiving surge becomes the new reality show. Unfortunately, it will only get worse in the several months ahead. The first few months of the vaccine will not, and I repeat, they will not affect these trends that we are seeing at this point in time. The only thing that will affect the dire needs trends will be following the basic guidelines that the CDC, that the town of Wapager, the county under Marcus Molinaro have been putting out there on a regular daily basis. That's wearing a mask when you need to, washing your hands and face regularly. It is now seeing that the virus will attach and last on surfaces for a while. So wherever there's a lot of places that are touched regularly, please wash your hands along the lines that you can read about if you don't know already. And of course, maintain your social distance along with some basic human etiquette. Avoid anything other than small gatherings as well. I take my temperature regularly, have been doing this for years. I actually take it 3 times a day, and I highly recommend you learn what your trends are. Some people get very worried when they learn as they've gone into a public place, that their temperature is above 98.6. Well, that's not to worry about because a person's temperature range varies on a daily basis, and it normally is within a range. For me, it's around 97.2 up to about 99.5, but generally within the high 97 and low 98 range. So please do that if you can. When I lived in SARS for 14 years, or when I lived in Taiwan, I lived there. Part of the time was during the SARS pandemic of the early 2000s. This was a very, very serious time. The Grim Reaper actually took a devastating toll on lives. And fortunately, at that time, the United States did not face a pandemic. It was effective in keeping it out from the foreign shores. But this time, while Taiwan has learned from the SARS pandemic and is actually the cleanest, safest country in the world when it comes to frequently traveled, high-volume, high-density population of 25 million people in a very small landmass the size of New Jersey, it has been extremely effective, and so can we. As we enter this Thanksgiving surge, as we're calling it, we must keep in mind that holiday behavior can and will alter the outcome of the surge. There's no question about it, that it will alter that surge that we're seeing. In fact, it can help stop the spread. What we are now seeing in COVID-19 is that the growing rate of hospitalizations nationwide, statewide, in our county are not sustainable. They simply aren't not sustainable. Many areas, such as California, the Dakotas, Oklahoma, to name a few, are nearly out of critical ICU beds. We're still okay here, but the projections, if this trend continues, by January we will be totally out of ICU beds in our hospitals, which means then that even people with other ailments, will not be able to get serviced promptly. We are not at the point yet here in Dutchess County, but if we don't alter our practices by January, actually by Christmas, Hanukkah starts tonight, during this holiday season, we will have reached criticality. There is no question about that. That's what the science and the facts are clearly showing. We are now at various levels. Marcus Molinaro, the leadership of Marcus has been exemplary. He is sounding the alarm. I'm sounding the alarm. Please take this seriously, because the numbers that we're seeing are undeniable. 307,000 tests in Dutchess County. That's good news. But there are now almost 1,100, probably today's numbers will show over 1,100 active cases. In October, when I spoke to you in October during one of the briefings, there was only 141, a big jump. 55 people are active in the town of Wappinger as compared to 12 back in October. The worst news is that 93 people are now hospitalized. Back in October, we were down at a very low rate of only 5 to 6 people. More disturbing is that in October, we had seen 151 unfortunate deaths occur, largely from the earlier wave 1. We are now up to just about 200 deaths of residents within our county. The 7-day average, which is being looked at very closely by all government officials in the town of Wappinger, in the county, has been edging up very quickly. We're now seeing in the county a 5% average during that 7-day period of time. We're still not in the critical state as we're seeing in other areas, and the statewide is also around a similar point. Mid-Hudson region, that's the area in which we live and is one of the key areas for COVID numbers and COVID classification, is averaging above 6%, as I understand it. What has changed since actually our last briefings back in October and early November? Well, it's cold weather, more inside gatherings, and also letting down our guard, and last but by no means least is burnout. People are exhausted, they're tired. I understand that. I feel the same way as you do, but we can't let our guard down. It's when that happens, people are catching it, and many people are also dying. The spread is this time moving from west to east, across the United States. And thank goodness we have a lot of protocols in place that other areas did not. But this is very, very real. COVID is real. Do not assume it's not. It's not a hoax. We are approaching 20,000 deaths a week now. A staggering number. And no other disease or ailment can even begin to reach that number. Over 3,000 people died alone yesterday in the United States. I have 6 doctor and medical PhD relatives, immediate relatives in my family. They are observing throughout the country very horrific trends. Even former military engagements in our wars, whether it's World War II, Vietnam, Korea, Afghanistan, all those confrontations haven't seen anything quite like this Grim Reaper effect. And so please, everyone, for everything that you love and people that are very dear to you, please very, very conscious of what can and will happen if we're not careful. There are yet still no clusters within the town or within the county. That is actually good news, but what is happening is it's the small gatherings that are taking place naturally as they would, as people want to get together with family and friends during this very extended holiday season. Keep in mind, we're talking about Thanksgiving going all the way through New Year's and actually beyond, because then there's Lunar New Year's. There's the Mardi Gras. There's that whole period of time that we see a lot of festivities. Normally, that's because during the winter season, a lot of these events, going back to their old roots, was to try to keep the spirits up and alive during depressing, actually, weather times of the year. So please, let's look at Christmas. I have noticed a lot of people are putting trees up, or, lights have been up earlier. I decorated my house to try to bring some happiness and merriness to our community. So let's try to do that, but please keep in mind, as a nation, we no longer have a luxury not to embrace COVID protocols. We must try to avoid this unfortunate onslaught that we're seeing. I do not want to sound dramatic, but in fact I need to, because some people are starting to say, oh, the vaccine is here. No, the vaccine is not here for most of us. It's going to start in very limited doses through December and January, what will be the worst months. Still, a very small percentage of people will be vaccinated. The herd immunity effect requires 75 to 80% of people to be immunized, with vaccination, or maybe in some cases antibodies. Keep in mind, that we have 331 million people in this country. 331 million. 75, 80% means that about 270 million people are going to have to be vaccinated. The delivery systems, the number of vaccines available is not going to reach that point until much later next year. So the winter vaccinations will not be enough to stop the spread. So we have to rely on COVID protocols in order to do that. So regardless of your political, your religious, your philosophical views, we must embrace now science and technology throughout the area. We must be more tolerant of people that do not want to observe some things, but at the same time, they need to also keep in mind the concerns of people that are observing it. We cannot view other people as the enemy. We're all in this together. We're all going to survive only if we act together. We have to wear masks. We need to remain socially distant when we're indoors to the best that we can. Outdoors, similarly, we can't have large gatherings. Unfortunately, many of us do have to sacrifice our holidays this year because of, that is, getting together during the holidays, because families in this country have traveled apart over the years. Maybe we'll see some of that start to return. I know in the town of Wappinger, we're seeing a lot more of our youth coming back to the town. That's actually very good news. I'm very happy to do that. So going forward in these really challenging times, days ahead, we must do this together. We have to act together, and we must not fail anymore. We can't afford it. The measures need to be taken, are not too complicated, but we can't afford recklessly to squander, what we have. The town of Wappinger, our staff, throughout the town are doing everything that they can to remain open, to welcome you here, at the same time observing our protocols. So, I hope that you can do it. Also, we're continuing with a number of our programs and events. And, similarly, Joey Cavaccini and I have put together the new version of the Wappinger Town Guide. This is much more extensive, designed to help you really get access to information during this pandemic and then beyond. This is now at the printers at Dutchess County government. We have a shared services agreement. They're doing the printing, so hopefully this will be out fairly soon. Joey and I are also working on a children's young adult guide to the town, somewhat different from this information. This is for everyone, but for the adults to use as a reference point. So please, let us know if you want it. We will have many copies here. We'll be distributing it throughout a number of other locations throughout the town, particularly at our restaurants, our cafes, our delis. So you can go there, buy something, and pick up a copy while you're at it. So please enjoy your holiday. Do the best that you can to stop the spread. We look forward to seeing you here in Town Hall and many of our events, such as the Christmas tree lighting that's coming up this Saturday. And we will have our schedule. There are a number of events that are mentioned in here. Some of them have to be virtual. And hopefully the spread will stop and we can get back to live events with our entire community. So thank you. Remain safe and well during this coming holiday season. Take care and happy holidays, folks.